Hello everyone, welcome to the explanation. So in previous video we covered concurrency control and the problem that occurs due to the concurrent transaction. So what we learned was in DBMS there are concurrent transaction occurring, that is the more than one transaction occurs at the same time. Okay, so related to that concept, in today's video we'll be covering a new topic which is serializability. Okay, so this is a very confusing topic for students, and in this video in this topic I'm going to make videos in three parts, that is serializability in DBMS part 1, which will be covering all the basics like what is serial, what is non-serial schedule. In second part I'll be covering conflict serializability and view serializability, and in part 3 I'll be covering numerical related to this serializability. Okay, so please be updated according to this. So without any further delay, let's start our topic, which is serializability in DBMS. So before starting serializability, we have got to know certain terms. Okay, certain terms that you should be knowing. First term is transaction. So what is a transaction? Okay, a transaction is a unit of work. We are just revising the terms. Okay, a unit of work that is performed against a database. Okay, so a single transaction can have multiple operations like read, write, or combination of both. Next term is concurrency. Okay, what is concurrency? Concurrency is the simultaneous execution of multiple transaction. Okay, so as we have observed in the previous video, what was happening, we were having two transaction T1 and T2. So T1 was changing this value of x to 100, and at the same time T2 was trying to read, sometime T2 was trying to update. So this is called concurrent. Okay, that is simultaneously execution of a multiple transaction. Third term that we should know is what is a schedule. So what is schedule? A schedule is nothing but a sequence of operation from a set of transaction. Okay, so how a schedule is represented? So a schedule is a representation of the order in which operations are executed. So a schedule is nothing but representation of the order in which operations are executed. Means that suppose first of all, we in a schedule we can have multiple transactions. So first of all we had this transaction T1, so we'll write like this T1. After that we had T2, then we'll write T2. Suppose after that we are again having T3, we'll write T3. So this is the order in which the transaction is occurring, and in a single schedule there can be a number of transactions. So for example, a schedule S1 can be formed with the help of three transactions. So three transactions are used to make this schedule, that is S1. Let's go to next term. We are just discussing the term so that it will be easy for us to discuss later. So next term is serializable schedule. What is a serializable schedule? Okay, so a schedule is serializable if its outcome is equivalent to the outcome of some serial execution of the transaction. What does it mean is, suppose we have got a schedule, and if the outcome of this schedule is very similar to a serial transaction. So what is a serial transaction? First of all, let us know that. Suppose we are having a three transaction T1, T2 and T3. So what happens in serial transaction? First of all, we are going to execute this T1 transaction. It means that first of all this T1 transaction will take place. After it ends, then only we are going to take the T2 transaction. After it ends, then only we will have this T3 transaction. It means that this is a very safe type of schedule, because in this there is no conflict, because after T1 finish, then only we can start T2. After T2 finish, then only we can start T3. It means that we don't have any issue related to concurrency problem or the conflict issues. So this is called a serial schedule in which one transaction will occur after another. Now the opposite is parallel schedule. So what happens in parallel schedule? So in parallel schedule, if we have three transactions, so what can be happened is, or we can say parallel schedule or non-parallel or non-serial schedule. So what happens is, if we have a three transaction T1, T2 and T3, so T1 is occurring and at the same time we can switch to T2. At the same time we can switch to T3. After that we can again come to T2 and we can again come to T1. It means that these transactions are occurring, they are the interleaved transaction and they are occurring at the same time. They are a mixed type of transactions. So this will lead to concurrency. It means that at the same time we are going to perform all three transactions, but there is an issue with this which is called conflict. Okay, so you can get this. Now let me give you an example regarding the serial schedule, so it will be easy for you. Suppose, as I told you, suppose we have got a schedule 1, okay, which is represented by S1. Inside S1 we are going to have two transactions, okay, T1 and T2. Suppose first one is write A is a value, any data. So in first transaction we are going to read that A value. After that we are going to write or update the A value. So again after that in T2 we are going to read the A value and we are going to write the A value. Suppose the value of A is 100 initially. So in this what will happen? We will read the value which is 100. In second what will happen? We are going to update the value 100. So I'll update it to 150. After that in transaction T2, if transaction 2 tries to read A, it will get value 150. After that if we will write A, suppose add 50, so we will get the value 200. Okay, see, so what is happening in this? In this, first of all T1 is occurring and after that only T2 is occurring. So there is no conflict. It's very easy. Very smoothly it is going. Yes, similarly we can swap this. For example, if T2 is here and T1 is here, it doesn't matter which transaction will take place as first. So if suppose this type of transaction is there, RA, WA, and here it is RA and WA. So is there any problem? No, because after T2 occurs, then only T1 will occur. So we will write this as T2 occurs to, after that T1 occurs. Okay, so this is an example of a serial schedule. Now let us take example of non-serial schedule or parallel schedule as we discussed. So what happens in non-serial schedule? Suppose it is a schedule S1. Inside this we are going to have two transactions T1 and T2. Let us suppose here first of all a data is there A, then read of A occur. At the same time read of A occur. Sorry, after T1 read of A occur here. After that write of A occur here and then again write of A occur here. Okay, so suppose we have a data A which is equals to 100. So here it will read the value as 100. After that again T2 will read the value as 100. So no changes there, so 100 only. After that T2 will try to write. So let us suppose it wrote 50, so it is 150. After that it goes to T1, it is going to write. So this is a parallel schedule in which we are jumping from here to here, again from here to here. So if you draw the state diagram of this, what is happening? Suppose we have a transaction T1 and transaction T2. So what is happening? From T1 it is going to T2. So it will be like this. Again from T2 it is coming to T1. It will be like this. So can you see the difference? In serial it was like this. In parallel it is forming a loop. Okay, so whenever we are getting a loop in a schedule, it means that it is a parallel schedule or a non-serial schedule. Okay, so in this way you can find a serial schedule or a non-serial schedule. Okay, I hope you got this. Fine. So this is the part A of serializability. In the next part I'll be starting with serializability. What is the definition of serializability? After that we'll see what are the conflict transaction, or we can say we will be seeing this conflict equivalent. After that we are going to see the two types of serializability, that is conflict serializability and view serializability. So this video is going to be video is going to be very important, and after talking about this video we'll go to the question part. We'll be solving some question, so I'll try to get your question from GATE. If you are going to prepare for IIT, then I'll try to get the question from IIT GATE preparation, from our exam university questions, and some other question. Okay, till then stay safe and thank you.